full upper body mobility routine. This one's gonna be quick, similar to my lower body one. It's gonna be around 15 to 18 minutes. Just like that one, you guys do wanna warm up ahead of time, so if you wanna jump on a quick treadmill or even just do some skipping, anything to get our blood flowing and just our muscles a little bit warmed up. Starting off with arm circles, we're gonna go backwards first for 10. So as we reach backwards, I want you to think of like reaching behind you, down nice and straight in front of you, and then up to the sky for full range of motion. So that's 7, 8, 9, 10, and then reversing it going forwards for 10, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Now we're gonna bring our arms out to the side and we're gonna do T-spine twist, so just from one side to the other. As we're doing these ones, I'm not actually shifting or moving my lower body. Everything stays stationary, and it's just from the waist upwards. So it's roughly 5, we'll go for 10, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Next, we're gonna do the similar one that we did with the lower body, just because I really like this one. Reaching all the way up to the top, bringing ourselves all the way down. This time, instead of thinking of pushing back into our legs, we're actually gonna think of opening our shoulders. So from the side, we're gonna reach all the way up, and as we go down to the mat, I want you to push your hands into the floor and almost think of opening your armpit up, and then we're gonna come back up. We'll go for 5. So that's 2, 3, 4, and 5. To get full spinal mobility here, we're gonna just do some simple spinal rolls. So starting with our head neutral, we're gonna tuck our chin. As we do this, we wanna make sure that as we're bending down, we're thinking of our vertebrae moving each step of the way. Reach for our toes, slowly bring it back up. You wanna do these ones nice and slow and controlled, and take deep breaths as we're doing it. We're gonna go for 2 more. And then last one. And back up. Next one we're gonna do, I call these ones just like twisting obliques. I know some people call these ones zombies, but really simple. We're gonna take opposite arm to leg as we kick through, so a little bit more of that thoracic spine. So my left arm is gonna tap my right foot, switch, my right hand touches my left foot. So twisting each time. So that's 2 each side, we're gonna go for 5. 3, 4, last one, and 5. Next what we're gonna do is some lateral movement. So we're gonna stretch our left arm up and we're gonna tilt sideways. You can have this hand either on your hip or on your leg, and you're gonna reach over to the opposite side of your mat, keeping this nice and stretched out each way. So you wanna make sure from the side, I'm reaching right over top, I'm not hunched forward. As soon as you hunch forward, you're gonna lose that tension through your obliques and your lats. So from here, we're gonna hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Stretching all the way up to the other side, all the way over. Hold here for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Next what we're gonna do is like almost like more of a dynamic movement. So we're gonna swing all the way through and coming back up. So we're just, again, loosening up more of that thoracic and upper lumbar of our spine. So we'll go for 2 more each side. Last one. And back around. Moving down to the ground, we're gonna do one of my favorite shoulder openers. This is something that I actually very much need to work on because I'm very chest heavy, so I get very tight in my chest. So we're gonna do one hand on either side of us. And if you're a beginner, I want you to just focus on opening up your chest and looking up to the ceiling. So a nice proud chest, you're gonna hold here. If you feel like this is too easy, what we're gonna do is we're gonna pop you up, hips nice and flat, and fully make like a tabletop position here as you sit here. So we'll hold this for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Back down. Now, this is another variation of this same movement, but we're gonna make it more dynamic. So if you're just sitting in the upright position, you're gonna practice opening up your chest and then rounding it, opening it up and rounding. If you're doing the advanced tabletop, we're gonna go all the way to the top and bring yourself all the way back down. All the way to the top and back down. Now, if you're like me and your chest is relatively tight, you are gonna feel this a little bit in your elbows, in which case you can then modify halfway through and then just take a little bit of the tension off and just focus on the seated portion of opening up your chest. So we'll do one more and back up. Next one we're gonna do, again, because I'm tighter, I'm gonna feel it more in my elbows. It's not a bad thing, it just means that you need to work on your mobility. Starting backwards, we're gonna open up our shoulders and then bring our bum back. So opening up our shoulders and bringing our bum back. If you're advanced, you can do tabletop rocks. So similar thing, going back and forth, reset, and we'll rock back here for like 5 to 6. So we'll go for 3, 2, and 1. All right, now that that's all done, and we have some tension in our elbows, shake those out really quick. We're gonna do more of our T-spine next, because that's my biggest trouble area as well, especially for bodybuilding and posing. So what I want us to do is bring our right leg in. Our left arm is gonna go over our leg, hand goes behind us, and we're gonna slightly twist. If you're really tight, you're gonna hear some snap, crackle, pops sometimes, but that's nothing to worry about. My back cracks all the time. We're gonna hold here for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Switch sides, left leg comes in, right arm crosses, and then as you can see from the back, I'm turning. So my left side's a little bit tighter, so sometimes I hang out here a little bit longer, similar to how my left leg's also tighter in my lower body. We'll go for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Spinning around on our bums. You can do this cross-legged, you can do this in a frog, whichever position you want. We're gonna go over to our lat stretch. So sitting on the ground, if you're a beginner, hand will be placed here, and you're just gonna simply reach, similar to the one that we did standing, but now we're on the ground. If you're more advanced, we're actually gonna place our elbow on the ground and fully reach over while keeping that right butt cheek glued to the mat so we're not leaning completely over. So you wanna think of almost someone stretching you butt to hand. So my butt's gonna reach to the other side of the mat while my hand reaches to this side of the mat, and that'll give you a nice big lat stretch. So hold here for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Other side, stretching right over. Another key thing, if you find it hard to think of like your butt cheek kind of gluing yourself to the mat, you can also think of like pushing this knee away from you and it'll give you the same effect. So 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Coming up, we're now gonna do a typical favorite, one that most people do anyways. We're just gonna do our child's pose. So feet will be glued together, small space between our knees for our body to fall through. We're gonna crawl our arms out. I'm gonna take this off again so I don't make you guys too muffled. Crawling out, reaching our hands forwards, and just letting our face rest on the floor. You wanna think of someone almost grabbing your hips and pulling you backwards, and someone grabbing your hands and pulling you away. So again, that big stretching feeling. And we'll hang out here for another 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. We're gonna take our hands to the left side of our mat. And again, we wanna think of that pushing. So we're gonna push our weight into our right hip / glute, and then reach to the left nice and far, get a nice big lat stretch. We'll go for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Other side of the mat, same thing. So you're gonna see my hips push away and reach, and I'm gonna feel a nice big stretch all the way through here. I'm gonna hold for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Next movement we're gonna do is gonna be our cats and camels. I know some people call them cat-cow. I don't know where I came up with camel, but whenever I say it in public, people are like, what are you talking about? This is what I'm talking about. So we're gonna be on our knees and our hands, a nice neutral spine to begin with. We wanna make sure that our shoulders are right over top of our wrists. We're gonna start with the arched position. So we're gonna set our pelvis back, arch through our low back, push down into your hands and open up your chest. And then you're gonna curve under, tuck the pelvis, and go into a nice rounded position. So this position, I'm actively pushing down into the ground and trying to open up my shoulders as I'm pushing into the floor, and I'm letting my full low back bend. This one I'm pushing down and feeling a stretch through here, and then also keeping my low back nice and rounded. So we're gonna go here for 2 more. And I know this one feels weird. So sometimes people don't like to do it in the gym, but if you're in the privacy of your own house, totally fine. Or if you're in the gym, just do it like against a wall or something if you're feeling like a little shy. Back into our all four position, we're gonna move on to putting our hand behind our head. We're gonna take our elbow and bring it down to the wrist, and then try to open yourself up as far as you can. So we're gonna curve in and curve back out. Reason being why we have the elbow here is if we were to lift our arm, we wanna try to make sure we get up as high as we can, and that'll kind of give us a landmark of how mobile we are. We'll go for one more. And then we're gonna switch, left side now, opening up and coming down. This is 3, we'll go for 3 more. 4, 5, and 6. Common question that I always get all the time, how to stretch out your wrists. I always like to warm up with simple milkshakes. We go one way, and then we wanna go the other way. This one is coordination because a lot of the time when I go the opposite way, it like takes me a while. We also wanna do our roller coasters. Again, one way, and then the other way. So much coordination, it's so hard. So give this one a try because it's always nice and fun. This basically just allows all your joints to get like a little bit looser and getting ready to stretch. Another thing that I also like to do is I also like to get the blood flowing into my wrists. This is also life hack. If you're ever someone who's got tight forearms, like doing like grip strength stuff, if you literally do this, where you like basically like take your hands in between your knees, your grip strength will come back. So if you're ever doing like a heavy pull day and like you just feel like you're like peeling off the bar, take a minute, get the blood back into your hands. It actually helps a lot with your grip strength. So for our wrists, we're gonna start with our fans forwards. We're gonna lean forwards and lean back for 5. So 2, 3, 4, and 5. Next, we're gonna do semicircles to the right, semicircles to the left. This is basically you just kind of like saying hi to putting pressure onto your wrists in all directions. So we're going forwards and sideways. This is a great warm up to do before your handstand practice, or if you're doing like a heavy push day as well. So we have one more each side. Then we're gonna take our hands, bases of our wrists together. Same thing, just kind of saying hello to some flexion in our wrists. This one you can let the base of your palm peel off a little bit just to give yourself a little more movement. We have 3, 2, and 1. Now we're gonna go to the actual stretching portion. So this will actually be holding. Hands go down this way, fingertips towards us, palms to the ceiling, and sitting down. The farther you have your hands out and the more you lean back, the more stretch it's gonna be. If you're a beginner, put them right underneath you, and that's gonna be a little bit more friendly if you're new to wrist stretching. Here we're gonna spend around 10 to 15 seconds, nothing crazy long, so about 5 more seconds left. 3, 2, and 1. Next, we're gonna take our wrists and we're gonna actually turn them into an eagle grip. So if you're a beginner, you won't get the full rotation, but basically you're gonna start with your hands forward, internally rotate to the base of your hand is facing this way. Same thing on this side, turn it all the way in and back. So if you're ever a gymnast, you know this grip is eagle. If you're someone who's more beginner, your wrist might look more like here. Always work in pain-free ranges of motion, never force anything. I'm gonna stay here for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. I'm gonna do some active stuff now. So hands, fingertips facing each other, palms to the sky. As little or as much weight as you would like. Pop up onto your fists and then back down. Onto our fists and back down. So this one, as you get more advanced, you can start to actually like take your knees off or go into a push-up position. I actually always keep my knees on the ground. I know some people who go real ham and just do like full push-ups like this. Not me, which is totally fine. We're gonna go hands this way, pop it up nice and strong. So this is like my typical wrist warm up. It doesn't really change with what level of handstands I'm at. I did this when I first started to get back into handstand training. I did this as an advanced handstander, so never needs to be like super crazy. It's just something to get your wrists all warm and nice and strong. The last one we're gonna do is going to be just like fingertip pops. So we're gonna start on our hands and just pop to our fingertips. This is something that's really good for anyone, again, who does handstand work, or if you're someone who's a tumbler. It just is a little bit more weight and a little bit more of a wake up to your wrist before you get started. So let's go 3, 2, and 1. Nice, now our wrists are nice and warmed up. Last thing we're gonna go through for our upper body mobility is gonna be more T-spine stuff. So moving down to the floor, we're gonna go back to our T-spine. We're gonna hug our right knee in. We're gonna drop it all the way to the left side, taking our right arm and pulling it all the way to the other. So again, that pulling motion. I'm gonna keep my left arm on my right leg, just so that way I can get a good big stretch and just focus on reaching and not having this left leg pop up. So holding it here for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Switching sides, left leg now in, dropping it over to the right, and then reaching over. So this side for me today is very tight because I'm not even touching the floor, which is totally fine. My right side always tends to be a little bit more flexible. So we're gonna hold here for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Coming back up, we're just gonna hug our knees into our chest. We're gonna go into like our happy baby. I know I did this one for lower body, but I actually also like it for upper body, just because we've done so much twisting of our spine. It's nice just to kind of like lay on it nice and flat and just rock back and forth and kind of feel like everything mellow out. So stay here for like 3 more rocks. 3, 2, and 1. Last thing we're gonna do is just gonna be for our upper body, like kind of shoulder area. We're gonna have our hands in front of us and I'm gonna push my shoulders all the way through. So I'm trying to get, it's kind of similar to the very first stretch we did, but now it's more concentrated. So hands are gonna be flat on the ground, nice and wide. We're gonna push our shoulders down to the ground and stick our head through. If this feels uncomfortable, or if like you don't have the lower body mobility to be in a straddle position, you can also say have like a box and then put your head through there. That's a typical way that I like to do it, but because we're just using a mat today, I wanted to show you this variation. So sticking our head through and holding. We'll be here for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Last thing we're gonna do is actually just gonna be a cobra stretch, everyone's favorite. So if you're a beginner, you always wanna make sure that your hips are staying flat on the ground. So you can start here, and again, you wanna basically focus on someone pulling your shoulders out and then keeping your head up nice and like up. I don't know why I couldn't think of that word. Up would be good. Up here. If you're advanced, we're gonna go onto our hands, still keeping those hip bones connected to the floor. Again, you'll see my shoulders. This is not gonna get much of a stretch. This is gonna feel significantly different. So you always wanna have space between your ears and your shoulders, because this is no neck. Now we have a neck. And we're basically gonna stretch here and hold for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. So that is it for my upper body mobility routine. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. If you have any questions or comments, put them below. And otherwise, I will see you guys next time.